Hey, my name's Dustin Carpenter. I'm the lead pastor of Anchored Church. My story of following Jesus begins my freshman year in college as a philosophy major at the University of Baltimore. I was an atheist, but also a racist, and didn't want anything to do with Christians or the church or Jesus. And then one night, I was working at a bookstore, and they had a Bible on clearance, and I had just hit rock bottom in my life. So I bought the Bible, and I started reading the Gospels, and I was blown away by Jesus and who he was. And there came a point in the story, and I was rooting for the Pharisees to trick Jesus, that the Pharisees came up with this plan of, all right, if Jesus chooses this option, we got him. If Jesus chooses that option, the Romans got him. And so they present this kind of challenge to Jesus, and Jesus shows them up asking for a coin. He says, whose face is on this coin? They say Caesar's. And he says, give unto Caesar's what is Caesar's, and give to God what is God's. And it was at that moment that I realized that Jesus was a lot more than I thought he was, that he was everything the Bible was declaring him to be. And so I said, there's no way a bunch of fishermen wrote this brilliant story unless it actually happened. And if it actually happened, everything else in the Bible happened. So I gave my life to Christ. And 2 days later, a young man, African American, came up to me. And he's like, hey man, are you a Christian? And I was like, whoa, is that actually what happened to me? Am I a Christian now? And he says, hey, there's not another Bible or religious group on campus. In fact, the only other religious group at the time on campus was an anti-religious group. And so me and this young man, Brian, started meeting weekly to kind of plan this Bible study. And it was through that relationship that my racism left me, and I was able to see that God loves all people, and he's brought people of all races to be my brothers and sisters in Jesus. And so about 2 months after meeting Brian, we had our first official Bible study, and we just decided, hey, we're going to just tell our testimony. And so we had about 40 people that first night, and I was the only white guy. And I said, hey, this is my story of how I used to hate all of you, but Jesus saved me and rescued me. And so that was kind of my first taste in ministry. It was from there that I joined Crew and helped start various college campus ministries around the Baltimore area. And it was from there that I met a young church planter who was starting a new church in Baltimore. And so we began that journey, went to seminary at Faith Theological Seminary, and then helped start another church in downtown Baltimore. And it was through all these journeys that we eventually came to the Eastern Shore and helped start a church in Easton. And so for the last 2 years, we've been there, and then finally this year, God has called us and sent us out to come to Cambridge to plant Anchored Church, a new down-to-earth church that is anchored in the Bible and anchored in the community.